All right, fives in the chat right now for the top 5 quarterback prospects. Aaron, first, what is your criteria? Because I want to go first, and we're going 5-1 once again.
All right, so my criteria for what I believe is going to be a good NFL quarterback is first one I saw was obviously can they win football games in the college level? All 5 of these guys did it, some more than others. Secondly, how versatile are they? For me, can they do a little bit of running as well? Because the league kind of needs that. The league,
Yep.
teams need you to be able to take off and get 7-8 yards in a tough spot on third and 5. The third one for me is the third one for me is a situation that I think they're probably going to go to is another spot. Now again, that's just pure speculation. I think that one's more of just kind of a pipe. Fourth one is just my eyes, just the general eye test and do I think because we're all wrong on prospects and we've all been dead right on prospects. I was wrong on Andrew Luck, 100%. I'll be the first to admit it. I thought he'd flame out.
Wow.
Even though I thought he was incredible in college, I just thought it wouldn't work out, successfully in the NFL for him, and I was wrong. So my top 5 NFL prospects that are coming out into this year's NFL draft from 5 to 1. Let's start this off by saying there's not a ton of depth in this draft in terms of quarterback prospects. So there's probably about 7, maybe 8 guys who are going to get drafted. So here's my top 5. Number 5, I have Desmond Ritter, who is the senior quarterback from Cincinnati. I know, like I said, you're not a fan of him. I don't think he should even be on the field year 1. I think he's probably a 3rd to 4th round pick here in this spot. But if he can go to the right spot, he reminds me of potentially like a Justin Fields type, but in my opinion, a little bit more accurate than Justin Fields. So again, situation is key for him. I think he'll go 3rd, maybe 4th round. A team I like is honestly the Vikings for him. That's kind of my opinion. Like I know they have Kellen Mond who does the same thing. I think, in my opinion, Desmond Ritter's probably a better quarterback than Kellen Mond. Number 4 for me is Sam Howell, which is insane because I think if he had come out last year, he probably would have been right in the thick of those quarterbacks being taken last year. I think he might have been the 2nd quarterback off the board after Trevor Lawrence. But he's my number 4 here in this spot. I think a spot like Pittsburgh. I know that if they get Aaron Rodgers, things change, but I think a spot like Pittsburgh really fits his mold. He's a 6'1", bigger guy, 225. He can move a little bit, and I think he's kind of got those shades of Big Ben. He's not as big as Big Ben, but he's kind of got those shades of Big Ben, and you're looking at a kind of a younger version of that in that spot. Number 3 for me is Malik Willis. I can't decide if I like this guy or not. I know a lot of people like him. I know he played at a smaller school. They had a few upsets, of some bigger teams. He didn't wow me in terms of fundamentals, but he wowed me in terms of like big plays, chunk plays. He reminds me of a Lamar Jackson type player, but he also has a pretty good arm on him as well. He, to me, I think it's all going to be about fit for him. And that's kind of why he's in the middle for me. He and the next guy were kind of interchangeable in terms of where they may go depending on who drafts them as to how successful the beginning of their career is going to be. So Malik Willis finished number 3 for me. Kenny Pickett is number 2. I love the arm. I don't know if I love a lot else. The accuracy is going to have to get better. He can run a little bit, so that helps. But I know the small hands, everybody is all over the small hands situation here. I mean, Joe Burrow had small hands too, and he's a Super Bowl finalist. So again, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, 2 and 3 for me. It's really I'm curious to know if Denver is going to go after one of these guys. I feel like Kenny Pickett, if he goes to Denver, is going to be Drew Lock all over again. But I think there's some situations in the NFL where he can actually succeed. So, and then my number 1 is Matt Corral. Matt Corral, to me, is your prototypical stand in the pocket, fire all across the field, can make the short throw, make the long throw, can make the back shoulder throw. He can do it all. And again, I preface this by saying this collectively is a bad draft for quarterbacks. So I'm hyping him up, but let's not put him on this, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning pedestal. Let's not get ridiculous with it. So for me, Matt Corral is the top quarterback prospect. But again, all of these, let's take them all with a grain of salt. I don't think any of them should be starting year 1. Let's put it that way.
My top 5 on my criteria was situation in college. I don't care if you won or lost. What were you given, and were you good at it? Did you elevate players? Did you make guys better? Number 2, I have not seen their tape, and I pride myself on the tape. That's why I fell in love with Daniel Jones. So it's not tape based, but it's what I've seen. And it's also what I've seen from the combine. How are they performing? What have I heard about their senior day? And also, like you said, the dual threat helps a lot. Number 5, a guy who, like you said, could have been drafted high last year and wasn't. I'm sour on Sam Howell because Sam Howell had such great expectations and just crapped down his leg. Just crapped his poop down his leg and just wasn't fantastic like he should have been. And maybe cost North Carolina a couple games. Not that it mattered in the ACC this year. But, Sam Howell, not the fastest guy, but he broke a lot of tackles, which is insane for a white guy. Number 4, Homer here, Bailey Zapper. His only year in college, he broke the records of passing yards and passing touchdowns. I'd say not a bad gig, albeit wherever the crap WKU plays in. But they're
Kentucky.
but no, wherever the conference they play in is.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So Billy Zapp to me impressed me, and he'll fall to the 3rd or 4th, 5th round maybe, and he'll be a nice little project. Number 3, Carson Strong. I don't know much about this guy. All I know is that he's got a rocket arm. I think his longest air yard in college was the longest of anyone. It was 70 yards. I think that'll work in the NFL, but accuracy is the key, which is why he's number 3 on my list. Number 2, Malik Willis. I've heard a lot of good things about Malik Willis. I remember catching on this guy about mid-season. Really early season, I heard about him. I knew he played at Liberty. But you're right, he's like a Lamar Jackson who might be a little bit more accurate. And I'll probably take the accuracy over the electricity of the legs if you still have awesome legs at that point. And number 1.
Do you think the Ravens would draft Malik Willis in this draft?
That'd be dumb.
Well, I mean, they're not getting any headway with Lamar right now. It'd be an interesting little wrinkle into that scenario.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Number 1, Aaron, I'm actually mad that we both have this guy, Matt Corral. The biggest thing for me that vaulted him to number 1 was in the SEC. I know their defense is not as good as it used to be in that conference, but he lost like 3 of his top 4 guys and balled out again. Matt Corral, he's going to throw it all over the place. Doesn't matter who he was throwing to. You can blame Lane Kiffin's offense. I don't care. This guy in the right situation could flourish, and I think any team would be happy to have him. He plays well with anybody, and that to me speaks volumes about his draft stock. He being my number 1 quarterback, like you said, not up there because he's not really flashy, but hey, he played well with anybody he played with. So there you go.
I'm shocked you left the guy who completed almost 70% of his passes and 42 touchdowns off your top 5.
Who, Ritter?
No, Kenny Pickett.
Wasn't even thinking about Kenny Pickett.
I think in the right situation, that guy's going to be a gem. Matt Corral is the most talented NFL-ready quarterback of the 5. I know he's coming off the injury in the bowl game, but Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ritter are my low-key dark horses to really find the right spot and shine.
I have a challenge for you for next week's top 5.
Okay.
How about we watch some film on these guys? I know you've done that before. You like to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a new list to see if it's changed next week. You want to do that?
Okay, I can do that.
Updated top 5 prospects and see what we got going.
Fair.